and stuff, so if you don't want to hear that, I'd suggest clicking off. This video is going to be more vlog type, not really like a super ASMR-y video. It's just whispered because it's currently 2 a.m. at my house right now, and though that's currently the only time I can film anymore because everybody is home for the summer right now. So, but yeah, so to preface this story, I got surgery on the 10th of May. I got a hysterectomy, and healing from it wasn't the most pleasant experience, but things seem to be going well. Okay, the lighting is not it. That better? That's better. Maybe. That's it. Anyways, yeah, so healing wasn't pleasant, but it was going well. And then about a week and a half in, I noticed an increase in the usual bleeding. I noticed an increase in the usual bleeding, and I got concerned, so I reached out to my doctor and I asked, hey, like, is this normal? Should I still be bleeding? It's been a week and a half, like, this seems weird. And they're like, yeah, it's totally normal as long as you're not bleeding like a lot, it's fine. Like, bleeding's to be expected. That's just what comes with this surgery. And, you could bleed for up to 6 weeks. And I was like, that sounds awful. I do not want to bleed for that long, but if it's normal, I'm fine. Like, I'm just still gonna keep taking it easy and healing because it is supposed to take about like 6 weeks to heal from this surgery, and like the bleeding continued. And then on the 25th, around 10 p.m., I noticed the bleeding had increased significantly. It was a lot. Like, I had completely, bled through the pad I had been wearing that day, and, bled quite a bit when I went to the bathroom, and, I was a little concerned, so I, talked to my mom, and I'm like, hey, I bled a lot, do you think I need to go to the ER or anything? And she's like, maybe, let's keep an eye on it, send a message to your doctor, and, if it continues, and it's, really bad, we can go in the morning, or we can give them a call in the morning, We didn't think it was anything too extreme, and then around 10:30ish, the bleeding seemed to stop for me. Hi, Cosmo. Come here. No? Okay. The bleeding seemed to stop for me, so I took a shower and got ready for bed, and I finally went to bed around midnight. And so I go to bed and I'm just kind of in bed chilling. I started playing some games on my phone, so I just went ahead and was playing some games on my phone, not really falling asleep I know I should have been, but I was just kind of winding down, chilling, whatever. And I was sitting almost the same way I'm currently sitting in my bed, but I was a little leaned back more and kind of laying down. And around 1 a.m. I noticed, I felt the blood creeping up the pad I was wearing, and I was like, okay, after this round, I'm going to the bathroom and cleaning myself up because ew. And I just thought, it was the way I was laying. It just kind of rolled until I noticed all the blood in my bed and the fact that I had completely bled through the pad. Yeah, so like, I freak out. I run to the bathroom and I'm like, no, this is a lot of blood. I have completely bled through a pad in under an hour. So I shoot my mom a text from in the bathroom and I'm like, hey, I think I need to go to the ER. I'm bleeding a lot. And I hear her come upstairs and she comes and like talks to me and she's like, so either me or your dad, we're gonna bring you to the ER, or maybe one of like your stitches popped or something, like, but this is serious. So I changed the pants I was wearing, changed the pad into a much thicker one, and I thought I was honestly gonna be okay with just a thicker pad. And my dad drives me over to the ER, and we get there, we check in. It was pretty simple, easy. They're just like, so what are you here for? We explain. They're like, okay. And they brought me back within like 5 minutes. It was pretty fast. And so then I'm brought into one of their rooms. Some nurses come in, they like take my vitals. People ask me, where's my pain at? And I kept telling everybody it's like at a 3. There was some mild abdominal pain, but it wasn't bad. It was, like I said, about a 3 out of 10. It was a 3 out of 10. And so they didn't seem super concerned, and then they sent me off to the bathroom to go get a urine sample. And that's when everybody notices that I am bleeding a lot more than we thought. I had completely like soaked through everything, like the bedding in the hospital bed, like soaked through that and everything. And so I go to the bathroom, get the urine sample. I felt really bad because I got blood everywhere, and like I tried to clean it up but didn't do the best of job, and like I felt really bad for the nurse who had to clean up the blood. Like I tried to clean it up, but there's only so much you can do with paper towels, And like I felt bad, but also at the same time, like I am bleeding profusely. I probably should have been more worried about the fact that I was bleeding and not the fact that I got blood everywhere, but like no one wants to be that person that has to clean up someone else's blood, and so like I felt bad. Anyways, they wait for me to come out of the bathroom, and then there's a guy standing there, and he puts me in a wheelchair, and he's like, okay, let's go back. You need a CT scan. So I go and I get the CT scan. They have me put my arms over my head, and they switched out the IV fluid to the stuff for the CT scan. And the thing slides me in, and it like tells me to take a deep breath and then to hold it, and it would count down, and then it's like, okay, release the breath, and then it would slide me again, and it's like, okay, take a deep breath, hold it, and it did that a few times, and it was a very odd experience, because like he told me it would make me feel warm, but it did, like it made my whole body feel like oddly warm, and it kind of gave me this like kind of lightheadedness. Like I felt like I was gonna fall asleep. Like it genuinely kind of like felt like it's like, oh, I'm gonna, and then it was over. And he puts me back in the wheelchair, and I'm wheeled back to the room that they had me in, and they take some blood, and they're gonna go run some tests, and so then I'm left there to kind of wait for a while. I wasn't checking the time to see exactly how long I was there waiting. There was a clock up behind me in the bed, but I was not feeling good enough to like keep checking back and looking at it. So I just kind of like ignored it, but my dad and I were just there. My dad was sitting off in one of the chairs hours, and like he kept dozing off, taking naps, and I kind of joined him. I was like, it's so late, and I hadn't slept that night at all, you know, so I was exhausted. And the doctors come back and they're like, so, like, your vitals aren't dropping, like, even though you are losing significant amounts of blood, like, you aren't losing it to the point, like, that we should be super, like, concerned, like, you're not at the point that you need a transfusion or anything. And so, like, they tell me that, and then finally they decide that, yes, I'm gonna need emergency surgery. Like, from the CT scan, it looks like one of the stitches inside of my pelvic flesh pocket, because I know I can't say that word on YouTube. Like, one of the stitches inside the pelvic flesh pocket was undone, and that's where the bleeding was coming from. And they said it kind of just looked like the suture had come undone, and it was just kind of like spurting blood. And I was like, okay, like, I can do that. And so they hooked a new medication up to my IV, and it was supposed to, like, force my blood to clot, because they're like, we don't want to, like, pack it full, you know, because that would just be uncomfortable. And they're like, so yeah, you're gonna need surgery. So then, some other nurses come down, and they wheel me off to the OBGYN side of the hospital. And I go up there, and they're like, okay, when was the last time you ate? And I was like, dinner last night. I can't tell you the exact time. I think it was like 6, and they're like, okay, well, as long as you didn't eat or drink anything before midnight, well, after midnight, like, you should be fine. And I was like, I didn't. And they're like, sweet. And so they run a few more tests, take my vitals a few more times, and they're like, okay, well, here's some pain meds. You should be able to just sleep for like an hour. Our surgeon should be coming in here soon. He didn't have any morning surgeries, so you're gonna be the first person he gets to. And so, like, when he gets here, well, we're just gonna suit you right up and get you in. And about like 6 o'clock is when the doctor showed up. It was actually funny because I got up and went to the bathroom right then that the doctor showed up, and I was like, of course. And like, it was really gross seeing all the clotted blood down there. I won't go into detail, but it was gross. And so, like, I cleaned myself up a little bit, and then I had to go through and switch out all my piercings before they could bring me back, because, like, my lip piercings are metal, and, like, I had metal piercings in my ears as well, and then I had to, like, take out my nipple piercings as well. Like, those are also metal, and, like, if they did have to defibrillate me, like, you know, that's electricity, and that could burn me with the metal piercings. So, like, you either need no piercings in or plastic ones. And so, you know, I take those out, and then about then is when the surgeon's ready, and he's like, okay, we're gonna bring you down, we're gonna get everything fixed up. I'm gonna go in through the old incision sites, because the original surgery I got was laparoscopically. So they made 3 little incisions, 1 inside my belly button and 2 next to it, like kind of nearish my hip bones, but yeah. And so they're like, we're gonna look inside and make sure that there's no internal bleeding as well, and then we're gonna, like, seal up everything else. So then they bring me down, the anesthesiologist talks to me, makes sure that I'm not allergic to anything, reconfirms medications, and I sign a bunch of consent forms, and then they bring me into the OR. They have me move over to the bed, and they're like, okay, we're gonna stick this mask on you, and you're gonna fall asleep. And like they said, I fell asleep. And then next thing I know, I'm waking inside the room I was before, inside the OBGYN area. It was also really nice being in the OBGYN area because it's called the women's clinic or whatever. And all the doctors, they were like apologizing to me the whole time. They're like, we know that like you're not a girl, but like, you know, given that it's like a uteral surgery, like we have to put you in the OBGYN area, but it is called like the women's area, and we're really sorry that we have to stick you in the women's clinic. And like, strong allyship right there. And I like truly appreciated that. Like, you know, I'm feeling like absolute shit and bleeding, and but like at least like they were like really considerate of my feelings though too, which was, I really appreciated that. And like, you know, I should expect that from doctors, but just given my experience with other people, not everyone's super accepting, and not everyone would like apologize for that, you know. But yeah, so I wake up after the surgery and they're like, well, everything went great. There was no internal bleeding, none of that was an issue. You're fine. It wasn't actually any stitches that came undone. The issue was the lining inside of the pelvic flesh pocket had some random tears within it. And he said the worst tear where the most blood was coming was from the can I say that word? Probably not. The internal scrunchie. From the internal scrunchie. And he was like, yeah, so there seemed to be like a really big like cut there. And so he went through and he stitched everything up, and he said it was really weird because like everything he touched started bleeding. So just the lining inside of there is just really thin. And he's like, I've never seen that before. Like, it was new to him. It was obviously new to me. Like, I wasn't expecting that. And he's like, yeah, and so you probably want to follow up with the surgeon who did the original surgery and, like, you know, talk to him about it. Talk to him about it and, like, figure everything out, like, healing-wise, and do all that, because, like, you know, that's really odd that, you know, you would bleed like that, especially, like, 2 weeks after surgery. And, our running theory for why is because I'm on testosterone, and that does just make the lining down there naturally thinner and weaker, and so just the added, you know, healing and everything down there. Our current theory is the reason for the tears was just a little too much excessiveness, too excessive, like, movement and stuff from me, plus the added testosterone and the thinning that just, they comboed together and made that happen. And, like, my mom looked up a couple studies that was like, you know, there people who were on, like, slightly higher doses of testosterone, like, were more likely for increased bleeding and stuff like that. But obviously, you know, the whole being trans thing is still, like, I guess more medically transitioning is more a new thing, and so there isn't a lot of research on everything, and so I am in, like, guinea pig territory, basically, and I know there's not really a lot of trans guys out there who have gotten hysterectomies. It's one of those surgeries that most people avoid because it is a really invasive surgery, and it does require a lot of heal time, and most people who really knows why I started bleeding. But I haven't taken a testosterone dose since then. I normally inject on Mondays, and this Wednesday actually, hopefully when I get this video uploaded. So tomorrow for me, so if I get this edited, I'm gonna be talking to the doctors that I do my hormones through and discussing if maybe I should do a lower dosage or just quit until I'm healed, just so that my body, like, really has the ability to heal, or if that's even the issue at all, we'll see. But yeah, so the biggest reason why I didn't post all last week was because I was in the ER and basically put on unofficial bed rest. Because, yeah, getting another surgery 2 weeks after an initial surgery and having both of them be incredibly invasive internal surgeries just has not been good on my body. I have not been feeling great. I've definitely been feeling better this since, the actual day of the surgery and everything. And I haven't had the crazy bleeding since then. I did start bleeding again like red like 2 days ago, and I am kind of freaking out because I'm like, that's how the pattern was before, so I am taking things incredibly easy, hence being in my bed right now. But yeah, that's where I've been. Hopefully I am able to continue to film videos because I am feeling better now. And yeah, I don't know if you want to send me good wishes or pray for me if that's your thing. Go ahead, I would appreciate it. But otherwise, yeah. Thanks for making it this far in the video. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video, which hopefully will be Friday's video, if I stay on a schedule. Anyways, it's been good seeing you all. I hope you are well. I hope you're doing better than